friends, welcome back to Minnie in the Mountains. The holidays are upon us. And if you're anything like me, you're scrambling to make your last minute gifts. You only have a gift card for Great Aunt Birgit. You want something to put the gift card in. What do you make? You want to make something handmade. Enter the teeny tiny tote from Carolina Little Stitches. Obviously, this doesn't have to just be a gift card holder. This has many uses, like you can put a little mini bottle of alcohol in there. Ask me how I know that it fits. Or you can make these just for the kiddos in your life, put some candies in there. These are great gifts. Good for markets, as always. That's always what we're looking for. I go over two different versions. This is the one that is exactly written in the pattern. This fabric, this vinyl is from Fabric Therapy. This beautiful glitter vinyl is from Tulip Bee. My zipper pull is from Kasaya. And then on the inside, I have waterproof canvas, also from Tulip Bee. I forgot to put the slip pocket in this one, which you'll hear me complain about. And then this one is my preferred method. It's a bulk reducing method. Okay, so I'm going to show you at the end of the video. If you see on the bottom, you can scroll to exactly where that is in the video. If you have a domestic machine, this method is going to be great for you. The original one can be done on a domestic machine. You just have to be a little more conscious of your fabrics. But this is jelly vinyl from Mormino, the starry box that she did a while ago. This purple, I don't remember. It's a vinyl. I have no idea where it's from. I don't know where my little star zipper pull came from either. My webbing is from Wonderground Fabrics a long time ago. And then my inside fabric, I don't know if you can see it, you'll see it in the video though for sure, is waterproof canvas from Fabric Therapy. And this one we do add in the slip pocket, you know, after I remembered that I didn't add it originally. So if you're looking for a quick sew, you're scrambling to make something last minute for holidays, or if this is after the holidays that you're seeing this and you just need a quick gift, this is definitely a fantastic, fun pattern. You add a little swivel clasp, you can add it to your bag, and your bag has its own bag. So let's get to making these. Thank you so much to Carolina Little Stitches for letting me film this video. What a great start to the holidays. Let's get sewing. All right, let's go over the pieces that we're gonna need for the pattern as written. You're gonna need 2 exterior pieces, 2 main lining pieces. You're gonna need a lining piece for your slip pocket on the inside. I have mine folded over, one of those. 2 accent pieces for the bottom. We'll cut out the boxes later. A slip pocket piece, if you're choosing to do that. I have found the midpoints on all of my pieces too. And then 2 handle pieces. For this one, I'm gonna do the raw edged piece. So I did mark a line down those, but 2 of those, you can use the 1/2 inch webbing too. And then you're gonna need a 6-inch cut of zipper, or 6-ish, we can cut it down, and then a zipper tab. And then I'm gonna use a cute little tag. You're gonna need 1 zipper pull for your zipper. And then these are gonna go on to the end, the little key fob ring and our little swivel clasp. And then you're just gonna need the basic stuff. I have my marking tools, vinyl marking tool, air erasing marker, and regular pen. And of course, some Wonder Clips. This is all gonna be done on my Juki 1181N, and I'm using Tex 70 thread in Cotton Candy Swirl from Saya Swag. Okay, the first thing we're gonna start with is our straps, if you're making your straps. If you're not, if you're using webbing, you can go ahead and skip ahead. but these are 1 inch wide. You're gonna mark a 1/2 inch in from each long edge, and then put some double stick tape right over that mark. I'm using 1/2 inch wide. In the pattern, it suggests 1/4 inch wide, just so it doesn't happen to get in your stitch line. My machine seems to do okay with this stuff from Weft and Warp, so I'm gonna use the bigger stuff. Okay, now you know what to do. We're gonna take off the tape and fold the long edges into that line. Right up to that line. All the way down the whole length on both your strips. Once we have both the long edges folded in on both of our pieces, take one of them and grab your pattern piece. You're gonna lay your pattern or your strap on top of your pattern piece, and you can see the stitch line. This is the stitch line for our straps. So lay your pattern piece or your strap, sorry, I'll get it right one of these times, and make a little mark where the stitch line is. Just move it over slightly so you can see it. And you're going to do that on both sides. Okay, and then just connect those. And you're going to do that on both your straps. And then we're going to take this to the machine and we're going to stitch just inside that rectangle. I'm going to leave my threads long and tie them off to the back. I'm going to use a 5 stitch length. And we're going 1/8 of an inch away just inside the rectangle. Did I forget to record during that whole thing? Yes, I did. Sorry. But you can see I stitched on the lines that I drew and just inside that box. So there should be no stitching on either end for both of them. Flip them to the back. And we're going to add some 1/4 inch wide double stick tape to the back with the seam down that unsewn portion on all 4 edges, or all 4, you know what I mean, all 4 tails. Once we have tape applied to all the ends, we're going to set our straps to the side for just a second and grab our little slip pocket. The slip pocket is going to be folded in half. That's why I marked the bottom or the centers here. So I'm going to take, you guessed it, some double stick tape, if I can find the end, and I'm just going to put it again along the bottom to hold it in place. I'm going to match up my centers and make sure my edges are lined up, and just press it down. Okay, once it's pressed the way that you would like it, you could throw a couple clips on there too. We're gonna just stitch along this folded over edge at 1/8 of an inch. I should have said you could stitch all the way around, top stitching the edge. Since I put that double-sided tape there, I feel like I don't really need to. Now we're going to grab our 1/8 inch wide double-sided tape, or if you're like me and ran out of 1/8 inch wide and are using 1/4 inch and cut it in half, we're going to put it along the 3 sides on the back of our little slip pocket. Now it's along all 3 sides of our slip pocket, not our top edge that we top stitched. Now that we have our little mini pocket ready to go, we're going to take our main exterior piece that you want is your front. So if you have a print that you want to showcase or whatever, do that as your front. And we're going to take our pattern piece and we're going to match it up all over because we're going to make some markings as to where we put things. So I just like to throw a couple clips to hold everything in place. And then you can see I cut out the little bottom portions of where my strap goes. So I'm going to mark where the strap placement is using my vinyl marking pen on both sides. And then I also cut a little slit where our accent is going to go. And then we're going to put our pocket aligning it to where the straps go. So I made a little slit where the center mark is, just so we know where everything goes. Okay, once you have that all together, I like to just match up where the bottom of that strap goes, so I keep it all nice and neat, and it'll be straight. Peel off the backing to your double stick tape on your little mini pocket. And then since we have the, I'm gonna move this over just a bit so that I have a tick mark lined up to where the center of the panel is. Since we have that center already marked on our pocket, I'm just going to lay that down, and you're gonna see that our pocket is going to go over where our markings are for our strap. That's what we want. We're gonna stitch. You can stitch around the 3 sides, not the top side. I am not going to, since I put the double-sided tape down, and when we lay our straps down, that will take care of really sticking it down. Once we have our pocket in place where we need it to go, take one of our straps, and on one of the ends, I like to work these one at a time. Take off the paper backing. And again, I like to take a ruler and just make sure, line it up with that line that we can still see. You should be able to see one line and the bottom. And just stick it down right up against your ruler. Okay. Now as we sew this, we're going to top stitch up and right back over the stitches that we did and come right back down and across the bottom. Be careful of your foot, not the one attached to your body, the one attached to your sewing machine, because where this pocket is, it is going to want to rock a little bit, so just be aware of that. Okay, we're going to repeat that for the other side. I like to flip mine, like that. And like I said, I'll line up where our line is because I can see the side and the bottom. I'm going to take the tape off my end and make sure that this is not twisted. Move my ruler. Make sure that your little strap is not twisted. Just press it up against your ruler. And always double check, like I said, that it's not twisted. And we're gonna do the same thing, go up, across, and back down. Now we have that all together. Make sure that you can still see your marks where our accent strip is going to lay. Make sure they didn't wipe off while you were stitching. And we're gonna put that to the side for a second. Grab your 2 accent pieces, and on the back side, mark a 1/2 inch down from one of the long edges. And we're gonna apply some double stick tape. Since I am using this heavier duty tape, I'm going to have some alcohol prep pads right next to me to wipe down my needle. All right, once you have those tapes applied, pull off the backing, and we're gonna fold the edges down to meet that line. Hey all, editing Jen here. I just realized when you saw me in this step, after we folded this over, it must have not recorded. So that is why my accent strip looks different here. So we can place it on. I'm going to show you how to do that. So what you're going to do is you have your accent strip, and I put a piece of double stick tape just along where that fold is, and then I added another one down here just to make sure it stays in place. You are going to line up the sides and the bottom and stick it down. So your bottom should be even with your accent piece and your main piece, and the sides should be even as well. I'm going to take off this other piece of double stick tape. You could add some clips if you don't want to use it. It's totally fine. And stick it down. Now you're going to notice that we have these extra bits. I'm going to cut those away from our accent piece. I'm not cutting into our main piece at all. Okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to top stitch along this edge that we folded and then stitch around the whole perimeter of just the bottom accent. All right, we got this whole thing nice and top stitched right at that folded edge and all the way around. If you have any overhang pieces, just go ahead and trim away. Not a big deal. And then also remember, if you've been using double stick tape quite a bit during this, go ahead and wipe down your needle with an alcohol prep pad. It's going to help. Now we're going to repeat the same process with the handles in the accent piece for the back piece. If you're not doing a slip pocket on the back, which I am not, you're going to skip that. Just do the handles and the accent piece just like we did before. All right, now that we have our front and back, you see I put my little tag right above the little accent piece. So those are both ready to go. The only thing we need to do is grab our pattern piece one more time. And we're gonna lay it down on our pieces, matching it up. And mark our zipper placement. I cut little slits. Mark our zipper placement on either side. And do that on both of them. Now we're going to work with our zipper. So take your zipper piece, your zipper tab, and your zipper pull. And we're going to first square off the teeth of one end. This is going to be our closed end. So open it up a little bit. I like to fold the teeth down. This is all from Shannon's patterns from Knotted Threads. This is how she does it. I find it to be a little easier, and I take a lighter and melt those two pieces together. And then I just flip that over and make sure those edges match up and light it. That helps them nice melt together. I know a lot of us like to use the lighter trick. Okay, do that to the same way on the other side. Okay, now we have our one end squared off. We're going to add our zipper pull and bring that all the way up to the end. Now, we are going to, the measurement in between here, I've measured it, is 4 7/8. So I like to cut down my zipper tape now. In the pattern, she has you add the tab first and then match up the tab once it's on and folded on your zipper. Match it up there. Pull your zipper out this way and mark a line on your zipper of where the end is and then square it off. You can do it that way. I just get in the habits of doing things, and this is the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to cut down my zipper tape to 4 7/8 of an inch. Okay, I've got it marked down, or I've got it cut down, geez. Now I added some double stick tape to both sides. I found the center mark on my zipper tab, added double stick tape to both sides. You don't have to add the double stick tape. I just find it helps keep it in place. And since I'm doing vinyl, I only did this tab to be 1 inch wide. But if you're doing cotton woven, you're going to do the double fold method as instructed in the pattern. So I removed the other side of the tape, and I'm just folding this over once. And then I'm going to stitch along the edge at at an eighth of an inch. Eighth of an inch away from that raw edge. Zipper tab added, and I added some double stick tape along both the edges of the zipper. Sorry, remember how I said I was cutting it down? Yeah, doesn't always want to separate. Okay, so this is going to go, I want my zipper pull closing to the left. So this is going to go right side down, like so. So I'm going to remove the tape from the bottom portion. And then I'm going to line up that zipper tab with our marking. Move the handle out the way. Tab with the marking. All the way down. And then our teeth should be at the other side to the other marking. I'm going to unzip my zipper. Makes it a little easier. Okay, and then grab one of your lining pieces, and I'm going to add a strip of double stick tape up on the top as well. Make sure that your centers are marked. Remove the double stick tape from our lining piece and grab that exterior piece again. Lining piece right side down and match up the centers of the exterior and lining. And if you did the vinyl straps like me, they're going to want to fight you at this step. And press them down. And we're going to sew across this at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once that's sewn, make sure that when you're sewing across there that your straps are staying out of the way and you're moving your zipper pull as needed. I'm going to close the zipper back up. We're going to push the lining up, and away. I'm just going to finger press it and then bring it wrong sides together. And I like to match up the corners. And press it nice. And as I'm sewing, I will kind of tug on the zipper a little bit to make sure it's all the way out. Now we're going to top stitch, but we're not going to top stitch across the whole length. We're only going to top stitch from like an 1/8 of an inch before the zipper and an 1/8 of an inch after the zipper. You can either back stitch or you can tie the threads to the back. I think I will tie them off. Okay, so this is what we're looking like right now. We're going to do the exact same thing with our back exterior piece. Lay the front exterior right side down, always making sure that our straps are out of the way. And then taking our lining piece like so. So creating a zipper sandwich, just like we did before. And then flip them and top stitch only where the zipper is, just like on this side. One step before, one step after. All right, we're almost there. So now we have exteriors and linings all together here. Unzip your zipper, and we're gonna put exteriors together and linings together. I like to clip right at those accents first, so they meet up nice, like right on top of you guys right here. And then I move to the top. Where those seams meet, I'm gonna push everything over so it's all pointed to the lining. It's gonna wanna go to the exterior is gonna wanna go to the exterior. Do your best and try and shove them to the lining side. You're probably gonna have to bend your zipper a little bit, or your zipper tab. And clip the rest of the way around. Once we have the whole thing clipped, on our lining side, there are two ways to finish this. So that you have this way that I'm doing. There is a binding method in the pattern as well. I'm not doing the binding, obviously. I'm doing the birthing. So on the bottom, I'm just gonna go in like a half to an inch in and make a mark on both sides. This is gonna give us this section to turn the bag through. We want as big of a section as we can get. You know what I forgot to put on? I forgot to put on our slip pocket on the inside. I will show you how to do that on the bulk reducing one. Sorry. I haven't put a slip pocket in any of these yet, so that's why I forgot it. Anyways, I'm gonna start sewing right at this mark here at 3/8 of an inch. I'm gonna backstitch here, backstitch 3/8. When I get to our stitch line, I'm gonna decrease. I'm gonna slowly decrease to 1/4 of an inch. We're gonna do 1/4 of an inch all the way around our exterior, and then go back to increase to 3/8 of an inch and stop here. Make sure to backstitch at the beginning and the end of all of our points. And when you get to these guys, you may need a hump jumper, you may need a zipper foot. Do as you need. Okay, I've got that all sewn together. What I'm gonna do right now though is go around just my exterior one more time closer to the edge. So like a scant 1/4 of an inch, just to reinforce and keep, especially where those accents go, and up at the top as well. Okay, now we're going to trim a little bit. I'm not going to trim like the first inch or so on my lining, but I am going to trim especially up where that tab is. It's just gonna help it lay nicer if there's not as much. Okay, it's all trimmed up. Now we need to box the corners. I'm gonna start with the lining because those are easier. You're gonna wanna pull those pieces apart. Since I left that untrimmed down here, I'm going to butterfly them open. Make sure the centers are all marked up or all lined up with our seams, and then I put a clip right in the center and then a little further down this pyramid. Okay, the further down you pinch and pull, the straighter your box is going to be here. So same for this side. Make sure they're even. Open up the seam. And clip. Okay, then we have our lining all boxed up. We're gonna sew across these at 3/8 of an inch. Just all right, once we have those boxed, we can trim that down to about 1/8 of an inch. Oh, missed a clip. And now we're going to box our exterior. This is where it can get thick. Since we had that overlay that's just sitting on top, we're gonna do the same thing, pull them apart. And since we have a smaller seam allowance here, I'm just gonna make sure one is folded one way, one is folded the other way, and clip. Yeah, depending on your materials, this can get really thick. Like right now, this is pretty thick because I use thicker materials. And now, whichever way your bottom is folded, you're gonna wanna make sure that on this side, it's folded the same way, or else it's gonna be a little wonky. Okay, we're gonna see how this goes. We're gonna sew across both of these at 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, yeah, my machine did not like that. I used way too thick of materials. I'm gonna trim these down just a smidge. And I did do 2 lines of stitching down here. So you can see I did one. That's not a good side to, but you can see I did one right there at the 1/4 inch, and then I did one at a scant 1/4 inch. And I've got a whole mess of confetti. All right, now it's time to bird this baby. Your zipper should be open. Gently push the bottom. Oh boy. Yeah, my material choice was not, it's not the best. I might need to grab a hair dryer. If you have the same problem, the hair dryer trick is great. Blow the hair dryer inside your hole. No comment. Blow the hair dryer inside there, get it warmed up. It makes the vinyl a little more malleable so we can turn it out. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was difficult to turn out. Don't be like me and base your fabric decisions on the ones that you absolutely love, even if they're thick, and say, yeah, that works. But it did work, it's beautiful. Now all we have to do is close up the hole in the lining. So pull your lining out after you've popped all your corners out. Make sure you pop out the top corners. And then just add a couple clips. And then we're just gonna sew that shut at 1/8 of an inch. You could also stick a little tag in there if you'd like. All right, we got that all sewn up. Now we just need to push the lining in. Push it in nice and good. Push it real good. Maneuver those corners into place. And zipper up. There we go. Super cute. The original method is great. It really doesn't get super bulky down there. Well, you know, if you don't use material that is crazy bulky. Both of these materials by themselves are totally fine, but layered on top of one another, it did get thick. Still totally doable though. Now let's make the bulk reducing method and my personal favorite. Y'all are supposed to tell me that we need to put this on. You just thread that through your handles and then thread your swivel clasp onto the little key fob ring. Now it's done. Now let's make the other one. Okay, to make the bulk reducing version, this is how I did it. I'm gonna walk you through step by step so you can do it at home. Take your main pattern piece, print out 2 copies. Yes, 2 copies. Then take your bottom accent piece from the original pattern, line it up to your pattern piece, line up the bottoms and the sides, and make a mark. Then we need to account for seam allowance. So mark 1/4 inch up, and you're going to cut that. You're going to cut on that line that we just drew. That will be your new bottom. Okay. Then take your second piece, which I don't have. I only have the 1 copy. But we already have the line. You're going to do the same thing. Take the accent piece, make your mark, and then instead of measuring up from that mark, measure below it and make a line. And that should be right on where that accent dashed line is. And then you're going to cut on that. And that will be your bottom. So you have top and bottom split in 2. Okay, now I'm going to show you everything we need. Okay, so the bulk reducing method, you need 2 of our top pieces that we just cut from our pattern piece. 2 of those. We need 2 bottom pieces, just like in the pattern. 2 lining pieces, the full cut. This one I'm actually going to try and remember the slip pocket piece. The slip pocket piece. And then I have 1 cut of the slip pocket. I did not fold this over. I'm going to keep it just raw. But then I'm going to add a little trim to the top. Okay, and this is 3/4 of an inch wide. Yeah, this one I did 3/4 of an inch wide since it's a tiny pocket. And then we need the same, our cut of zipper, a zipper tab, a zipper pull. I have another little tag, and the same finishing hardware. I forgot to show you, for this method, I'm using the 1/2 inch wide webbing. I got this from Wondergram Fabrics a very long time ago. Okay, for this one, I'm going to start with my slip pocket. Since I did not cut it on that fold line, this is literally the size of the pattern piece. But like I said, I'm going to do a trim. So I mark the center of my trim, line up the slip pocket top with that midpoint. Take off the double-sided tape and just fold that over. so, and I'm going to just top stitch right down that edge. I trimmed off the rest of the trim that I had overhanging, and I put some double stick tape 1/8 inch wide on the 3 sides of my slip pocket. Now I'm going to take one of my front panels. I'm going to do the other one. One of my front panels, oh, and I have the center marked on my slip pocket down here, and the center marked on one of my top pieces. Take the slip pocket off, or the tape off the slip pocket, and match up those center markings and align the bottom. Okay, now let's set that aside and do our straps. We're gonna do our straps just like before. We're gonna take, the only thing we don't need to do is do that stitch line just yet. So I'm going to take some double stick tape and put it on the bottoms or the ends of all these guys. I'm not going to try and go too far up. Okay. Now grab that piece that we had just done with our slip pocket, and I'm going to measure in 1 3/4 of an inch. On the pattern piece, it's not quite at that. It's in between a couple numbers, but this is how I made them before, so I'm gonna just stick with it. All right, and I'm gonna just line that up right to the bottom of that top piece and stick it down. So the bottom is aligning here, and the side I had aligned to my ruler. Turn around and do the same thing. Measure in 1 3/4. Take the tape off. Not the tape, the backing. And align it to the bottom. This is gonna get secured when we sew the top and bottom together. So we're gonna do that with our other top piece and our other piece of webbing. We have all of our straps in place. Now we just need to mark our stitch line. So measure 2 1/4 inches up from the bottom. It's going to be just above your slip pocket, and mark a line with something that's going to go away. This is air erasing marker, so it will disappear, I hope, or else it's going to look weird. Okay. And on these. Now, just like before, we're gonna take that to the sewing machine, start down here, go across our line, and back down on all 4 of them. All right, straps are secured down, and so is our teeny tiny little slip pocket. I'm gonna put these aside just for a second and grab our 2 bottom pieces. And I'm going to add a strip of double stick tape. You don't have to. Take the tape off of one and take one of your topping pieces, your toppers. Lay them right sides together and match up your center points. And align them all the way down. Okay, and do that for your other set as well. Right sides together. Now we're going to sew both of those edges at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, they're both sewn. Now we're going to press them open like so, and push that seam to the bottom panel on both of them, and then we're going to top stitch on the bottom panel at 1/8 of an inch away. Now we have our full front and back pieces all together with that accent piece. It's a single layer of vinyl, no overlay pieces. I just think it creates less bulk, and to me it's faster just aligning everything to the bottom panel. So you do whatever makes you feel more comfortable, and then I'm going to again add my tag right over here. Make the whole place shimmer because they're stars. Before I forget on this one, we are going to take one of our lining pieces and our slip pocket piece. Put the main lining to the side, and then take our slip pocket piece and fold it hot dog wise, wrong sides together. Clip all the way down. We're gonna sew along that clipped edge at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And now we're going to flip this inside out. It might be easier if you hit it with the iron, depending on what you're using. I'm using this waterproof canvas from Fabric Therapy. Seems to be doing okay. I'm gonna actually use my turning wand from Ochre Roots to help push it through. And then you're gonna roll out that seam. Roll out that seam and hit it with your iron. Okay, once we have that pressed, we are going to top stitch along our folded edge at 1/8 of an inch away. All right, that's all top stitched nice. Now grab our pattern piece, or our lining piece, sorry, and our pattern piece, and line it up, matching the tops and bottoms. And then grab a marking tool, and right where that dashed line was for our accent placement, that's also going to be the slip pocket placement. So make a little notch and do the same to the other side. Now, I am going to line up my ruler with those notches. So I'm going to line up the little tick marks with my ruler so it can get on nice and straight, and making sure that the bottom isn't all wonky. I put some double stick tape just on the bottom of that slip pocket piece. I'm going to remove the tape and plop our slip pocket on. Just pushing it up right against that ruler. And then I'm also going to throw some clips on the side. And now we're going to just stitch, base stitch, and top stitch on the bottom to hold that slip pocket in place. All right, our slip pocket is ready to go. Our front and back pieces are ready to go. And then we have our other lining piece. That would be cute with a little heartwood and hide tag right there. Now we're going to just put this all together exactly the same way that we did the first time. With our zipper, construct it the same way. Add your pull, put it all together. I'll meet you back here when it comes time to box the corners so you can see the bulk reducing. Okay, so I got the whole thing put together, box the corners on the lining. That's easy and same as normal. It's when you come to box the corners on the exterior with this bulk reducing method. You can see we just have the two layers of vinyl now instead of the 4 that we were going through. And then if you count these, the seams, with the other method, we're essentially going through, 8 layers of vinyl. So it can get really bulky. But this way you just have the 2, 4 if you're counting the little seams. So I'm gonna go ahead and stitch those at 1/4 inch, and then we can turn it. Alright, once we have everything hooked out, all the corners popped out, everything, same thing, fold that edge in. On the lining, clip down it, and sew in 1/8 of an inch. All right, that's all sewn, and I should mention that you can totally hand stitch that closed, and that'll just be a beautiful finish on the inside. I'm just lazy, so I go with the sewing machine. All right, we're going to push that back in, push in all of our corners. And now we got our cute little slip pocket in there that we remembered to put on this one. And just while this is like this, you can really pop out that corner. And voila! We have our little bulk reducing all done, and our regular by the pattern one. They're so cute. You guys are gonna love these. Who else is out there watching going, Jen, again, add the freaking hardware. Add your hardware onto it. So, what'd you think? Fun pattern, right? You're gonna make so many of these. I've already made like 8, and I could have definitely made more. Hopefully you chose materials that weren't as thick as mine and had an easier time turning it out, especially if you did the one as written in the pattern. And if you tried the bulk reducing one, let me know what you think. These go so fast. I love them. I hope you all have a fantastic holiday season. Stay safe, spread the love, and I'll see you soon.